All right, let's get right into it. We all live in this world of instant gratification, right? You want something, you click a button, and poof, it just shows up at your door. But behind that one simple click is this massive, incredibly complex system that's just trying to keep up with our constantly changing demands. In this explainer, we are going to pull back the curtain on how companies build supply chains that can actually respond to you. I mean, you've been there. You go to the store, and the one thing you came for, it's gone. Or on the flip side, a huge new product launches, and somehow it's magically available in every single city all at once. Yeah, those aren't accidents. They're the results of a really high-stakes guessing game, the game of matching what gets made with what we all actually want to buy. And this is what that game looks like. It is a global ballet of ships, trucks, planes, and factories. Every single one of those containers you see is a bet. It's a bet that a company is making on what you are going to want to buy weeks, maybe even months from now. Get it right, it's a huge success. Get it wrong, well, you get empty shelves or even worse, warehouses just overflowing with stuff nobody wants. So to really get how companies navigate all this, we first have to understand the sheer complexity of the maze they're trying to run through every single day. Okay, so here's the heart of the problem. Our tastes change in a flash. That's what we mean by volatile demand. The phone you bought last year feels ancient already, right? Those are shrinking product cycles. And we don't just want one kind of soda anymore. We want 20 with a dozen different flavors and diet options. We demand variety. And if one company doesn't offer it, their competitor will. It's just a relentless, super fast-moving environment. So to survive in this maze, companies usually adopt one of two core philosophies. You can think of them as two totally different mindsets for getting through it all: lean and agile. So first up is lean. This idea was born out of the Toyota production system. And lean is all about one thing: efficiency. It is obsessed with hunting down and eliminating any and all waste, what the Japanese call muda, in the entire process. The goal here is to make a standard, predictable product, like, say, a can of black beans, as cheaply and as perfectly as humanly possible. And then, on the other hand, you've got agile. Now, if lean is all about being efficient, agile is about being effective. Its focus is not on the lowest possible cost. Its focus is on speed and flexibility. This is the playbook for markets where demand is just all over the map. Think about fast fashion, where a trend can just explode on social media overnight, and you have to react right now. This chart really lays out the trade-offs perfectly. Lean is fantastic for a product like, say, table salt, high volume, super predictable demand. Agile is for something like a custom-built computer. But the real key distinction, the one you have to remember, is on that last line. Lean is about doing things right, making that salt flawlessly every single time. Agile is about doing the right things, making the specific computer that a customer actually wants right now. Okay, so we've got the high-level philosophies, but how does that actually translate into action on the ground? Well, it all comes down to a core tactical choice. Do you push products out into the world, or do you let the customer pull them from you? A push system is the old-school traditional way of doing things. A company forecasts what it thinks people will buy 6 months from now, makes a whole bunch of it, and then pushes it all into stores, really hoping that their forecast was right. A pull system, on the other hand, which is famous from just-in-time models, waits for a real signal. Nothing gets made until a customer actually places an order. Demand literally pulls the product through the whole system. And this little cartoon just illustrates the difference brilliantly. On the left, you've got the push guy, just struggling with this huge, heavy load that's based on a guess and approximation. But on the right, the pull approach is lighter. It's more responsive. It's only moving what's actually needed. It's the difference between blindly shoving inventory out into the dark versus having a clear signal to respond to. This quote just nails it. Let's just say that again, because it's important. In a push system, products are made because they are there, meaning the raw materials are there, the factory has a slot open. In a pull system, they're made because they are needed. That's a fundamental shift from a supply-driven mindset to a truly demand-driven one. So which one's better, lean or agile, push or pull? Well, the truth is, the smartest companies know there's no single right answer. They don't just pick one strategy. They use a kind of matrix to decide what's best on a product-by-product basis. And here they are, the two axes of that matrix. First, how long does it take you to get more of something? That's your replenishment lead time. And second, how good are you at guessing what people are going to want? That's your demand predictability.
Pretty much everything depends on how you answer those two questions.
So let's look at the first quadrant. Imagine you're selling something really basic, like canned tomatoes. Demand is super predictable, right? But it takes a long time to grow them, harvest them, and can them. This is the perfect home for a lean strategy. You can plan way ahead, optimize all your costs, and just keep that efficient machine humming. Okay, now what if demand is still predictable, but you can get more stock really quickly? Think about fresh bread in a local bakery. As soon as a loaf is sold, another one can be put in the oven. This is absolutely perfect for continuous replenishment, a pull system where you just replace what's used. It's simple, it's efficient, and it makes sure you're pretty much never out of stock. Now here's where it gets really exciting. What if demand is totally unpredictable, but your lead times are super short? This is the true home of Agile. Think of a local t-shirt printing shop. A meme goes viral online, and they can start printing and selling shirts that same day. They don't forecast, they just react. But this is the nightmare quadrant. What on earth do you do when demand is a complete mystery, and it takes a very long time to make or get your product? Think about high-end seasonal fashion from Europe. A single strategy like lean or agile just completely falls apart here. This is where the most sophisticated companies really show their genius. You see, they don't try to solve this problem with just one tool. They create a hybrid, taking the absolute best parts of lean efficiency and agile responsiveness and combining them into one incredibly powerful system. So how in the world did they do it? The core idea is actually simple, but it's totally revolutionary. You don't have to choose. You can be both efficient and flexible. You just have to be really smart about where in your process you switch from one to the other. And that switch happens at a place called the decoupling point. Now, this is probably the most important concept of all. It's a deliberately positioned buffer of inventory right in the middle of your supply chain. Everything before this point is run on a lean, efficient, forecast-based model. Everything after this point is run on a fast, agile, demand-based model. Here's exactly how it works in practice. Think about a company like Sherwin-Williams that sells paint. Upstream, they use a super lean process to produce massive, cost-effective vats of uncolored base paint. That's step one. They hold that generic base paint at the decoupling point, which is the retail store. That's step two. Then, when you walk in and ask for a very specific color, they pull from that generic stock and, in a final agile step, quickly mix in the color and hand you a totally customized product in just a few minutes. That's step three. It's a lean foundation with an agile response. And that, right there, is the secret. It's not about picking a side. It's about creating a relay race, where the efficient lean runner hands off the baton to the fast, agile sprinter at the perfect moment. This is how the best companies get you exactly what you want right when you want it without going broke in the process. And all of this leads to a final thought. We are demanding more customization, more variety, and faster delivery than ever before in history. So to keep up, these hybrid supply chains are going to have to get even smarter, even faster, even more predictive. So the next time you get that perfect product delivered in record time, you'll know. It's not magic, it's the result of a perfectly tuned, incredibly responsive supply chain.